Good afternoon, YouTube. Okay, you saw the title, so you know what computer it is. It has 16 gigs of RAM. It has 256 SSD now. Not how I got it. It was a 6 by half a terabyte HDD. It does have a touch screen, and if you want to play video games, well, you're going to have to disable the touch in your device manager. So make sure you do that. In my case, I went to an external monitor because this does have HDMI, Ethernet, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, which is more than compatible with this keyboard, considering that's an 11-year-old computer. I'm actually impressed. 3 USB ports are great, card reader, obviously the usual laptop stuff. It's a 16-inch screen with a 720p camera. Works well. Actually, I'm quite impressed with the camera on that thing. Anyhow, so I'm playing my favorite game on my big screen, and right now I don't have a gamer class computer. Life happens, and I gotta buy a new one. So I'm looking at one at MDG for about, I think it's $1,300 or $1,400. More than adequate for what I need for my gaming that I actually do. So mind you, eventually I'll have to upgrade the RAM a bit, but you know, hey, at least it comes with 16 gigs, so it'll play fine. But this is the hardest part of the game. Like, out of everything you're going to do in this game, other than crunching like a couple of thousand diamonds, this is actually your hardest obstacle to get around, especially if you don't have the necessary gems collected in order to purchase your diamond axe and diamond pickaxe. This chest has our diamond pickaxe in it, and it is always the same all the time. Okay, so scoop and go. All right, and about every 3 minutes it'll cycle the box. All boxes on the island everywhere cycle every 3 minutes. All right, so it's kind of like a clockwork kind of thing. Anyway, so I'm going to go down here. Now the screen resolution, even though my display is 4K, and it will put a 4K signal out to it through the HDMI, the problem we get into is, at least with this game so far, it's only going to give me 1366 by 768 in this game, which is kind of odd because Far Cry the original, which I also like playing, which plays, by the way, way exceedingly awesome on here. This is a dual core 1.9 gigahertz with onboard video, and it takes about 2 gigs of my system RAM from me. However, that's fine. Now, I'm actually running the game in 50% of main resolution, if that helps you out any. Like, you have a regular resolution rate on your games, and that's kind of like a normal thing. Now, I got to get to the other way, actually. I'm trying to remember where the hell I'm going. Actually have to go somewhere around here. I'm trying to remember. I have to get to that peak part of the island. Let me just get up in the air here. Okay, so where the heck am I? Ah, okay, I'm going the wrong way. Alright, so. But anyway, so I'm running basically half the quality, basically. Now, I did put it at 100% quality, and though the game does run, it is very laggy at 100%. I've been running this at 70. Because I was having a few problems trying to get my chests and my, stuff that I planted to show up. So I put it around 70, and it would work, and 60 worked. 50 didn't, but somehow by miracle today, it's doing it at 50, which is actually pretty good. Now, as far as frames per second goes, let me just get a sec now that I'm not in any danger. We're getting 13.5 frames per second. It's ridiculous. I have the Fish and Bird FX turned off, even though there is still some there. Detail settings are off. Toggle music is off. Player markers are off. Screen shake is also off. Just to try and squeeze a little bit out of this thing. Now we're down to 12 frames per second. But a lot of that frames per second is your internet connection, which will always fluctuate plus or minus. I do have the gigabit LAN in this thing, and I am hooked into straight Ethernet, and I set my priority as gigabit. though we don't get a gigabit, we get pretty close to about half a gigabit, which is fine. But it's going to fluctuate, and you know, it's not a strong computer. We are also in virtual memory playing this game too, which kind of does suck a little bit. It could benefit from 32 gigs of RAM, and I'd actually have a lot better frames per second, even with current setup. In fact, at 32 gigs of RAM, I should have no problem at 100% resolution quality at 1366 by 768 and still be able to get some good frame rates out of it. However, not the case at this time, and I am not going to spend money on RAM. I already had the RAM here, so it was no big deal for me to chalk it up to 16 gigs, but I'm not spending a dime on this thing. So I got it for free anyway, but it's only a temporary, and I can run the game like this and it runs fine. I'm not having any problems with battles or any of that sort of thing. I'm able to kill. There's a little bit of stutter here and there, which is not a big deal. Now, that's what's happening with this game. Okay, now if you're wondering where I'm heading to the Diamond Axe. Now this is going to be a little trickier to do because we do have some lag in the game itself. So that's where we got to be careful how we're going about doing stuff because of that lag. I should be able to do this. Like, this would be like the second hardest, but still easy. You know what I mean? Compared to the tower. Whew, I did it. Sweet. Yes, I rule. Freaking awesome. All right, now we got our junk. Now, as a machine for surfing the internet, as a machine for surfing the internet, this thing's fine for that, okay? It is Windows 10. The processor is not compatible, and we do not have a TPM chip. So either way, we're screwed, okay? So even if we had a compatible processor, there is no TPM, so we're screwed for a native install of Windows 11, though we could hack it on, okay? That can be done, and we all know that by now. I have no intentions of doing that because by the end of this month, I'll be able to order a new computer in, and so this thing will then be taken offline because in October, all of our Windows 10 updates are then done. Okay, I think it's the 25th of October is when they actually stop it. And then if you want Windows 10 updates after that, Microsoft has agreed to do 3 more years of it, but you have to pay for them. And you're going to pay, trust me. You might as well just buy a brand new computer, all right? Less hassle. Besides, sometimes you got to retire the old dogs. Now, being this has a card reader in it, it's got a really good display on its own, all right? And I'm actually going to switch that over. I'm just going to pull the cable, and we can go to its own display. And I'll just put that there like so. And now, I'm not going to say we're going to get any extra benefits here, but we will check. So this is no longer pulling from the HDMI port. And the quality of the picture, I mean, it's pretty good. Now, there's a little bit of delamination going on here of the touch, just on the touch panel digitizer, but otherwise it's fine. I don't see it bothering me when I'm playing a game or doing anything for that matter. Now, as far as frame rate goes, we're at 20 currently. And I suspect that it's just because my internet connection is a little bit better. But I've been doing some testing and I haven't really found a big difference, okay? However, let's go back to camp here. So, in all, I mean, for what it is, it's a really good computer. And I would have to give it a 4.5 out of 5 for what it is. And the fact that it can even play this game. This machine is so freaking below spec, even for the minimum for playing Core. Okay, which this is not called Core. The game is Island Survival Alpha, but the application is Core. And it's done by Manticore Games, and there's like over 50,000 games and stuff in this thing. and more all the time as people develop new games. Now, we're still waiting for Random Phantom to get off his friggin' butt and give us our next update, which we've been hearing about so much, but we're not sure what's going on there. However, at this point, I don't really care. I still love playing the game, and besides, I can reset my game anyways and start from the bottom up again. Your gems will never be affected when you reset, and I did figure out a sneaky little trick, because normally you lose everything, okay, other than gems, obviously. But I figured out a way to get main inventory upwards to 20 items tops if you have a military backpack. Otherwise, if you don't, you're 16, okay? And I figured out a way to do that and to be able to take stuff with me on my reset. And I do have a video about that as well, so you might want to take a look at that. So that if you do play this game, you ever want to reset back to level 0 again, you can. Now currently the level goes to 20 max, but it's not over. There's so much you have never even covered. Getting to 20 is ridiculous. And the AI in this is really good. It's constantly changing what happens, and that's kind of really fun too. Because things will be there 1 second, then gone, and then reappear somewhere else, and it's very challenging. And some of the specials that are still available for different goodies to be won within, killing a zombie or a raptor or whatever, they're so randomized that you don't know what you're going to kill in order to get, like, say, the golden crossbow or the katana. These are things you can't get from the gem shop, and a few other things. But you can win them, right, by killing the right zombie at the right time and right place, and you just, there's no pattern to it, right? So, but anyways, looks like everything stayed intact, even switching off to the smaller display. But you can see the picture is a really good quality, even for being at 50%. That's really actually quite exceptional. And the game is very playable. I mean, it's not fantastico or anything, but it's very playable. Now we're at 19 frames per second, so it's still pretty good. No complaints there. It's fairly responsive. At these settings, it's not much different. Like another 10 frames per second steadily, and it would be just fine. And we're not really losing a ton of graphical quality. Like if you want to compare quickly, let's I don't mind resetting this part. So we'll go to video, and we're going to put that at 100% of, and this is low settings, okay? It is very low setting. It's the lowest it can go, but 100% resolution scale, okay? A 1366 by 768. And then all we got to do is just simply reset like it shows us, and we'll be back into the game, and we'll see what our frames per second rate is then, because this is going to definitely chew it back, but it's also going to increase the quality. This is one of the games I just wanted to use as the example for the review on this thing, because it is a pretty demanding game overall, and this thing actually runs it. Now that's a big night and day difference there in detail, and everything is just so much cleaner, right? Now the higher your resolution with that quality, the better it's going to get, obviously, right? So now we're, what are we for frames per second? Let's just put that away. F2. Come on. Oh, there we go. 11. So we took a 9 dump. We took a dump of 9. That kind of really, honestly, sucks. But if we find it's too much of a dump, too laggy, it's not a big deal. We go back to our settings, go to video, and we'll just pop that right back down to 50, and we'll reset once again. So for a computer that is not meant for gaming, it does well. As far as the heat goes, I mean, I do have a cooling pad there, and the fan is running all the time in the laptop. plugged in or not, it does well. The battery's at about 84.5%. See, not much of a quality change, right? Just dropping it to 50%. And we can see a little bit, you know, of stuff, but otherwise it's generally like really super good. We're back to 18 frames per second now, somewhere in that area, okay? So very playable, works well. In a pinch, this can work. And I'm not even doing any running yet, but you know, here's running, and then sprinting on the horse is, your rides give you 30% more speed, especially when you're sprinting. And it works great. I'm friggin' impressed. I'm more impressed I got the tower and the friggin' hydro pole for the friggin' axe and pickaxe. So anyway, these things aren't worth much anymore. Maybe, I don't know, $50, maybe not even that by the time the Windows updates are done, but it's still a computer. It's in good shape. It's working well. I think as far as the brand new thing goes, I don't know what they went for, but I always feel that anything that's, you know, this low end with a, you know, $500 price tag, for example, brand new in Canada, would be a rip-off when you can get so much better for like an extra 50 or $100 more, right? But it is what it is, and brands are brands. They all sell for their own prices. That's why you shop around a lot when you're looking at computers, you know, see what you get for the same money, you know what I mean? But otherwise, yeah, I think she's good to go. I'm going to take off now. I think we're good at our, you know, 4.5 rating for what this thing is too. And if you do get a chance to get your hands on one, you should be able to pick one up for like $20 or $25, somewhere around there on the internet. Because that's about all I would even think about paying, considering, you know, it's not Windows 11 friendly native support, but you could hack 11, but you better put some RAM in there. And to do that, it's a bit of a process to take it apart. It kind of got me going at first, because when you first pop this off, it's the whole top that comes off, and there's 3 cables that are connected. Be careful disconnecting and reconnecting to make sure everything's fine. But then you still got to pull the motherboard, flip it upside down, just to change the RAM in this. At least the SSD is easy enough to swap. But that friggin' RAM was a pain in the butt. So anyway, that's it. That's all. Thanks for watching. Leave your comments below. You know the deal. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you on the next one.